and welcome to another episode of On Purpose. I'm Thawana, your host, and we're going to hang out again. I hope this is not your first time joining. If it is, remember to like, to share, and make sure you subscribe. I wouldn't want you to miss an episode, and that's the only way you're going to always know when a new episode is released. Remember, hit the thumbs up right down there. Like it with a thumbs up. Subscribe. That button's right down there too. Okay? Become a part of our On Purpose family by subscribing. And once you've subscribed, just type it in the comments. Subscribed. Okay? Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining. Again, I am Thawana, and this is On Purpose. And we talk about purpose. We talk about learning our purpose, how to navigate our purpose. So here we go. Today we're going to talk about finding purpose in unexpected places. Finding our purpose in unexpected places. Sometimes we just complicate it. We make it too complicated. And sometimes we're waiting on something to drop out of the sky. We're waiting on some writing on the wall. Probably not going to happen that way for you. You're probably going to bump into your purpose just by living everyday life. Okay? But I'm going to share some ways and some things that I want you to begin to pay attention to. Okay? Unexpected places. All right? Let's define purpose. We've talked about purpose before, that purpose can be something that you have a skill to do. Purpose can be something that you enjoy doing. Purpose can also be a conversation. It could be an interaction with someone. It could be just a relationship and how you connect with a person. So don't think of purpose as being something where you're boxed in, it's black or white. Okay? I'll say it like that. Purpose is not black or white. And it comes in so many forms and fashions, all right? So just if I can encourage you to do anything right now, certainly when you tune into this podcast, is open up your mind. Open up the way you think, how you think, all right? And be okay with changing why you should think differently, all right? Purpose has many different meanings to different people. And purpose can be about careers, relationship, or personal growth. Can be about any of those and so much more. Okay, again, I talked about relationships. I talked about how you connect with people. It can be purposeful. It can be purposeful for you. It can be purposeful for them. All right, your career. You may end up doing a job that you just took it because it was a job, we've all done that. But then you tapped into something in your role that makes you feel fulfilled and makes you feel excited about going to work the next day. Okay? So we're going to talk about that. I want to start off by sharing a quote. And I'm going to end with a quote too, but this one I want to start off with. When you realize God's purpose for your life, it isn't just about you. Okay? When you realize God's purpose for your life, it's not about you. Okay? He will use you in a mighty way because it is His will for your life. And wherever He leads you, wherever He guides you, He'll also provide for you in that way. All right? This quote came from Dr. Tony Evans. I don't want to act like it was mine. All right? So remember that. When you realize God's purpose for you and your life, and how do we do that? I've always said, it's what? It's a simple conversation. It's a simple conversation between you and God. Type that in the comments. Simple conversation between me and God. That's all it is. Don't overthink it. Don't get overwhelmed about it. And remember, take the box away. Take the box away. Purpose is not black or white, and it's not this or that. It can be this and that. All right? It can be this and that. Unexpected discoveries. Let's talk about those. Some have found meaning in surprising situations. Okay? You may have found yourself in a situation and something about it was meaningful. You may have blundered up on the situation. It may have been a planned situation, but somehow you found some purposeful meaning in it. Okay? It may be through volunteering at a local shelter. This is why I encourage you to not think of purpose as being in a box. Don't think about purpose as being in a box, because when you begin to expose yourself to different things, people, places, and things, you're going to find yourself gravitating towards something more than another thing. All right? That's your purpose kind of creeping up on you. Okay? But you'll only understand it and walk in it if you go in the direction of it. If you just kind of say, "Oh, I've never volunteered. Like I've never enjoyed that. I've never done that." Just try it. Just try it. If you don't try it, like, you'll never know. But me personally, I love volunteering. I think it is I think it is something that everyone should do. My boys started volunteering at early ages, and so I strongly encourage you. If you're not involved in volunteering in your community, let me tell you something. There is no better feeling than going to bed at night, fluffing that pillow, and knowing that you participated in something meaningful, impactful, and depending on what it was, probably life changing for the people that you served. Okay? Remember, volunteering is serving someone. That's what it is. Whatever it looks like. I know right now here in Florida, we're all recovering from Hurricane Milton, and certainly the hurricane before that, Hurricane Helene. And so we just have really been banding together as a community to try and make a difference for those that have been impacted. I know through my work, we're doing a lot of boots on the ground kind of stuff, because we want to make sure that everyone has what they need. But let me tell you something, if you are not a part of volunteering in that way, I encourage you, pick up the phone, call your local community leaders, conveners, and find out what you can do to volunteer. Really, that is a purposeful thing that all of us can be a part of. All of us, okay? Sometimes through personal loss, we can be things can be put in our lives where you discover something that you're passionate about, something you experienced personally, and you ended up having to walk through something. And while you were recovering in that, or rebuilding from that, something purposeful hits your life and impacts your life, and you realize, oh, wow. Oh, wow. Like I talked about once about photography, because I also have my own photography business. And the way that I got started in that is really, it's really purposeful, because it was intentional and wasn't thought out, wasn't planned. Like I didn't wake up and say, "Oh, I'm going to do a business plan for photography." You know where it came from? It came from my mom. My mom was taking pictures of us all the time. By the way, my mom and dad had 7 girls. Okay. So my mom was taking pictures of us all the time. And so when my mom passed away, it wasn't until then that I understood just how many pictures she had of us. Okay, now I started photography before she passed away, but I started it because when I started to look at all the family photos that she had taken over the years, I wanted that for my boys. I wanted the same thing for them. I never wanted them to look back and not be able to connect with something or a memory or something exciting, okay? So, if you're a close friend of mine or somewhere in my circle or my village, it's this saying that I kind of live by now when it comes to pictures is one day pictures will be all that we will have. Okay? So, just a little shameless plug. When someone asks you to take a picture, just take the doggone picture. Just take it. You'll never know what that will do one day when either that person is no longer here, whether they have moved away, whether you lose, communication, whatever. So remember, pictures are a lifetime. And if you have the opportunity, take them. All right? Take them. Okay, so if you have an encouraging comment or some feedback, share. I I love your comments and I welcome them, okay? The role of adversity. We talk about that often. There's always going to be adversity. But what kind of role does the adversity play in you moving into your purpose? What kind of role? Challenging times can often lead to unexpected paths to purpose. Challenging times will often sometimes be the road, all right, the vehicle to your purpose. But you have to see it that way. And you can't just look at a situation and feel like, oh my God, like, why am I going through this? Why am I here? What are you saying? What are you doing? Like, I can't take this anymore. Listen, in every bad thing, there's something good to come out of it, even if it is just us learning a life lesson. Okay? Um, my loss and embracing the need for grief counseling. I'm going to talk about that. When I went through grief, like I said, I didn't know grief in that way. And so I knew the only way to deal with day to day triggers or just how to manage my life at the time was grief counseling. And so that's what I did. Now, I think I said it in a recent podcast that I didn't know grief that way when my ex husband passed away. I didn't know grief that way. All right. So once I got in counseling and I understood sometimes, and I'm going to say this and I'm going to be unapologetic about it. Sometimes in our Christian world, some of us culturally, that's the way I'll say it, we just haven't been very good at embracing grief counseling, all right? Any counseling for that matter, but certainly grief counseling. But I will say I'm starting to see that change a little, okay? So I'm excited about that. But when I went through it in 2017, I felt like it wasn't encouraged, it wasn't embraced, it wasn't like, why are you doing that? Like, just come to church, whatever, that kind of thing. Okay, but what I knew was that at some point I wasn't going to always be in church. I was going to have to manage life. And I needed to know how to do that. I needed to know how to do that. Again, loss, death had not touched my immediate family in that way. And so I had no tools. Okay. I had no tools and I needed tools. I needed tools because I didn't want to be depressed. I didn't want to be on medication. And there is nothing wrong with medication if that is something that you need. Let me say that there is no judgment, okay? Just for me, I wanted to see if I could tap into day to day tools on how to manage, all right? How to manage. I would go to work was good, get in the car, head home, didn't have work as a distraction, and I am telling you, some days I have to pull off to the side of the road because I would be so overwhelmed with, okay, work is over, you're not in the classroom anymore. Now you got to go home and deal. Now you got to go home and manage. Okay. And so for me, there were times grief made me physically sick. Physically sick. All right. So, in being a part of grief counseling, I found an amazing love for encouraging others when they go through grief. Now, do I have a grief counseling business? Absolutely not. I do not. But I love when others reach out to me and say, how did you do it? How are you still doing it? What did you do? Everyone, I'll be upfront and say, I'll tell people right away, you need counseling. You need counseling because you can talk to me every day, text me every day, but counseling will give you tools to help you to regain some sense of normalcy. Okay? So that's all I'm going to say on that. All right? But we're going to talk about that another time. Okay. Encourage others to consider grief counseling for day to day tools to navigate the unexpected triggers. If you run into people and they're struggling, encourage them to consider counseling. All right? That's a lot of them that are free everywhere around. So you shouldn't be paying for anything like that. All right? So if you are near me and you know me and that's something you're interested in, message me, say something to me, and I'll certainly share what I know. All right? Everyday encounters. Let's talk about everyday encounters. Inspiration can come from mundane moments, like a conversation with someone or time spent alone, taking a walk, taking a drive, or even a trip. All right? Don't discount day to day mundane moments. Those moments that you may just count as nothing. They're just blah. They're like, you don't typically get anything out of them. Listen, there are purpose triggers that go off every day in our lives. Every single day, purpose triggers are going off. But these are good triggers. But if you're so boxed in and so black or white about purpose, then you're probably going to miss them. You're going to miss them. It's not going to be like balloons and fireworks going off in the sky. It's going to be the little things that I promise you that you're discounting, that you're downplaying, like it's not a big deal. Okay? Stay awake. Pay attention. Listen. Watch. All right? Watch for those purpose triggers. They're there, I promise you. Stay open to the world around you. Don't live closed off. Don't don't pull yourself away from those that care about you. Create relationships at work. Create relationships in your local church. I encourage you, if you're not busy in your church serving or volunteering, do that. Okay? Do that. Pray that God will speak to you through daily encounters. All right? Pray that God will speak to you because it's just a simple conversation. I encourage you, wake up in the morning and you can make up your own prayer, but mine is pretty simple. It is, God, show me your purpose in this day. Show me your purpose in this day. That's my silent prayer. Like, it's nothing big and deep. Like, I got to get on my knees and all that kind of stuff. It may be in the morning putting my makeup on. It may be before I even decide to physically get out of bed, but I'm just kind of laying there waking up. God, show me your purpose in this day. All right? A simple conversation is all that it is. Just a simple conversation. Okay, lessons from different cultures. I never really paid attention to cultures seeing purpose in different ways. Never ever paid attention to that until I started to study this a little bit. All right. So, some cultures view purpose in different ways. All right. And I'm not going to dig too deep into that because I want to keep it positive and I don't want to trigger anyone with my opinion. Okay. But I do have one. And I'll share a little bit, and you can message me if you want to, it's fine. Um, but the one that I found out that was interesting was the Japanese concept. Okay, I'm going to try to say this word ikigai, and I could be saying it wrong, and if I am, forgive me. Ikigai, it is finding joy. The Japanese purpose to them is finding joy in what they do. Finding joy in what they do. All right? That's a good sign to know that you're onto something when you find joy in it, when you are excited about it. All right? Um, this sometimes refers to a person's reason for living or sense of purpose in the Japanese culture. All right? Their reason for living or their sense of purpose. It is finding joy in what they do. All right? Some cultures are all about the hustle and achieving success, while others prioritize harmony, joy, peace, etc. Okay, so I'm going to sit on our culture just a little bit. And when I say our, you're looking at me so you know what culture I'm talking about. All right. We get stuck in the hustle. We get stuck in the hustle. And if you are having to hustle a lot to do something, there's probably very little joy in that. Now, I know the word hustle also has a cultural connotation to it, and I get that, but that's not the kind of hustle that I'm talking about. If you are so busy doing something that you're not able to slow down and enjoy it, it's probably not purposeful. Okay? I want you to see purpose as something that brings you joy, brings you happiness, makes you feel rewarding. It makes you feel complete. Okay? It makes you feel whole. All right? So, if you want to do some studies on culturally, because I did, and I just thought it was too much, and I didn't want to, I didn't want to sway this segment with all of that, but I did want to share ikigai. All right? So, think about it. Are you hustling so much that you're not enjoying what you're doing? Are you just so busy that you're not enjoying it? Or have you, even if you are busy, because listen, I get whatever it is that we seek after to do, sometimes it requires a lot of work from us. All right. But are you able to balance the hustle? Because again, hustle has another meaning in in a particular culture. All right. But are you enjoying the hustle? All right. Are you enjoying the hustle? Are you moaning and groaning about the hustle? All right. Think about that. Work on that word hustle. Okay. Community and connection. My favorite. Purpose can be found in building connections with others. Okay. You have to build connections with other people. Like, you can't be on an island by yourself. There's no support in that. There's no encouragement in that. There is no excitement in that. Okay. And there is no need to be on an island by yourself nowadays. It's too many ways to connect with people. You have a ton of social media platforms. You have, COVID is over, so people are out and, hanging out and spending time with their friends and whatever. Don't get bogged down with being on an island by yourself. You don't have to be. You don't have to be. I will say you should be selective of who you are connecting your life to. But connect with someone. Be open to someone. All right? Be open. Our journeys are enriched by the support and perspectives of our community. All right? Our journey is enriched by that. All right? We want a journey that's enriched. We don't want a journey that we're not excited about. Okay? Do you have what your community needs? You could be sitting around saying, oh my goodness, I want to know what I'm purposed to do. I want to know what I'm purposed to do. You can start here and, it's a little cheap, but I'm going to give it to you. You just may be sitting around looking at a problem that your community has, but you have the solution. You have the solution. Do you have the solution for a much needed youth program? Do you have the solution in your community for grief counseling? All right. Do you have what it takes to sit on boards and committees to be impactful and to be able to help them to do the work that they're doing? I encourage you, if you're not a part of a local board or a committee or anything, seek out those opportunities. Seek out those opportunities. Someone needs what you have. But you're overthinking it and thinking you got to have this business plan and you got to have this all figured out. You do not. I'm going to share a powerful quote with you at the very end that I just saw on Facebook, and it just blessed me so before I got ready to record this segment. I'm going to share it with you, okay? Get involved. Get involved in your community. Youths, they need us. Our youth needs us, okay? Our seniors need us. Do you have a love for seniors? Do you have a love for hanging out with them? Like, could you go, to a senior facility and play bingo? Play the piano? I don't know. Like, do you have a love for dogs? Like, is your dog so amazing that someone could benefit from spending time with your dog? All right? So listen, get involved. Find organizations that are doing amazing things in your community. And if those things and what they're doing aligns with who you are, resonates with you, speaks to you, if you love youth, oh my goodness, there are so many youth programs. I could name so many that could use help. All right? If you are a writer and you love writing, people need help writing grants. People need help writing press releases. People need help with their Facebook content. It's so many things you could get involved doing. All right? Everything won't be a paid thing. All right? But it certainly will be you giving of yourself. This is your call to action. Seek out your unexpected purpose. Step out of your comfort zone. Go ahead. Step out. Type it in the comments. I'm stepping out. I am stepping out today. All right? Try new things. Try new things. If you're single and you're sitting at home waiting on somebody to take you out on a date, girl, make a reservation at a 5-star restaurant and take yourself out. See, we got to learn to love ourselves before we ask someone else to love us. We got to be good with us before we ask somebody else to be good with us. All right? Keep your eyes and heart open for those little signs that can lead you to something deeper. Keep your eyes and ears open, okay? All right. So, I'm going to share something really quick with you. And what it says is the quickest way to succeed is to start now and to figure it out as you go. You can't learn to drive in a parked car. So get busy, figure it out as you go, and it's okay. All right? This is On Purpose Podcast, and I'm your host, Thawana. Thank you for hanging out. All right? Thank you for hanging out every Tuesday at 7. I'll see you right here. Okay? Thumbs up. Leave a comment, something sweet and nice. And don't forget, if you have not, hit the subscribe button. I need you to do that right now. All right? So as I leave you, remember, whatever you do, do it on purpose.